You're listening to Puma Podcast.
The foundation of this autonomous region is the right to self-determination of the Bangsamoro. So as long as Malacanang calls the shots, no, they can never meaningfully exercise the right to self-determination. Ano. So kaya nga, as early as you cut that off, I mean in terms of control of Malacanang over the region, the better for everybody. That means that you're addressing the grievances.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Maligro from a podcast, and you're listening to Teka Teka. In this episode, we talk about the calls to postpone the parliamentary elections of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM. On November 4, 2024, Senate President Cheese Escudero filed Senate Bill 2862, which called for the postponement of the BARM parliamentary polls. House Speaker Martin Romualdez and Lanao del Sur Representative Zia Adjong also filed similar measures at the House of Representatives. These lawmakers hope to push back the elections to May 11, 2026 in order to reconfigure its jurisdiction. Pero teka, anong ibig sabihin nila dito? To understand this, we need to go all the way back to 2019 when the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which is the law that established the BARM, was created. According to the BOL, the territory of BARM includes what was previously known as the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or ARM. This comprises Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, and Sulu. The BOL was signed into law by President Rodrigo Duterte in July 2018, and the areas that would make up BARM ratified it through a plebiscite, all except for Sulu. Filipinos in Sulu voted against joining BARM during the 2019 plebiscite. However, since the ARM provinces voted as a bloc and Sulu was the sole opposition vote, it was still included in the newly established BARM. This decision was challenged in court, and earlier this year, the Supreme Court ruled that Sulu's inclusion in BARM was unconstitutional. The ruling cited Article 10, Section 18 of the Constitution, which states that only areas voting favorably in plebiscites can be part of an autonomous region. This territorial change in BARM has prompted lawmakers to call for postponement of the region's elections. Sulu is currently allocated 7 seats in BARM's 80-member parliament, and with its departure, decisions need to be made about the redistribution of these seats. But does it really take 2 years to reallocate those seats? Attorney Benedicto Bacani, Executive Director of the Institute for Autonomy and Governance, believes that the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, or BTA, doesn't need that much time to accomplish this task.
Actually, kung gusto lang naman nila, pwede naman nilang ma-reallocate yan before elections eh. Meron naman BTA dito, they can do that in a year, in a week's time, no? Kung gugustuhin mo. Yung sabi mo nga, kung gusto, maraming paraan, no? Pero pag ayaw, maraming dahilan. No? So, kung ginawa mo na lang yan, no, nung final and executory na yung decision ng Supreme Court, kasi they have all the data naman eh. Ang dali namang reallocate. Meaning, reallocate mo, ibigay mo doon sa mga ibang probinsya. Idagdag mo doon sa Basilan, idagdag mo sa Cotabato. Kasi they all have the data eh. Ang sabi lang naman sa BOL, for every 100,000, meron kang isang parliamentary district. Kulang na nga yun eh. So it's easy to reallocate it if they really want it that way.
The BTA also released a statement in favor of moving the elections, but they hope to move the polls in 2028 to coincide with the presidential elections. The BOL states that the election must coincide with the national election. But some suspect that there is an ulterior motive behind postponing the polls for this long. We'll tell you why after this quick break. According to Attorney Benedicto Bacani of the Institute for Autonomy and Governance, postponing the elections benefits those currently in power. The current members of the Bangsamoro Parliament are presidential appointees, not elected by the people, and a delay in the elections simply extends their time in office and in power.
Kasi ang problema mo kasi sa postponement ng mga election, postpone ka ng postpone, okay? Yung nag-erode yung trust ng mga constituents sa institution. Kasi hindi naman sila accountable sa tao eh. Okay? Hindi naman sila accountable sa voters. those in power. They are accountable to the appointing authority, which is Malacanang. So that is really a very temporary situation, ano. Kaya nga ang sinasabi ko sa yung feeling of dissatisfaction and confusion, that's coming from the ground of people, no. So they are also not happy with their leaders, their own leaders. Why would they allow national government to dictate? Okay, so and it's a fact, no, na yung this whole postponement was orchestrated coming from the national government. They've allowed themselves to be persuaded. Kasi we've seen the change in the positions. Eh. Okay, change of the positions. Yung position na election, tapos sige na lang.
BARM was originally set to elect its first members of parliament or MPs during the 2022 national elections. This deadline, established in the Bangsamoro Organic Law, was supposed to mark the end of the 5-year transition period from ARM to BARM. But BARM's first parliamentary elections were postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Transition Authority argued that more time was needed to lay out the groundwork for the new region. Attorney Bacani acknowledges these were valid reasons for the delay at that time. But now, it risks disenfranchising the 2.3 million voters in the region.
Game of Thrones ito eh. No? This is game of the elite. So, elite in both the Bangsamoro and the national government. So they decide. So, and there's just so many self-interests that are there and political interests also. So, but that's the reality of it. But what is important is that you build constituencies, political and also peace constituencies. And information is very important. So I think first is dialogue and consultations, okay, involving as many, no? And when I say that, I'm not saying that i-extend mo para makapag-dialogue. The second is rule of law. You know, so, it's important that our institutions are founded on the rule of law, especially when you now shift from the battlefield to the democratic arena. Okay? So, hindi pwede yung policies are based on the threat of war, based on transactional politics, based on personalistic politics. Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng parliamentary system dito eh, para more principles-based yung mga policies. And I think that is for the national government and for the regional government and for the local government units, okay, to develop a culture of rule of law. So if you have strong rule of law, then people can go through the process of addressing their grievances, not anymore to democratic parliamentary system. Okay, so and politics are conducted also based on a rules-based system. Yun ang importante doon.
Communicating with constituents and upholding the rule of law are among the key priorities that Attorney Bacani is advocating for. When we hear rule of law, we often associate it with security and with crime. But in this context, Attorney Bacani is referring to something more straightforward, adhering to the deadlines outlined in our laws. And as the law clearly states, BARM's first election is already overdue. Here's Attorney Bacani with the final word.
Wala namang perfecto eh, no? So even democracy is a very messy political system. But I think it's the best system in terms of our effort, to build sustainable peace. That's the only way, okay, the viable system. And that is what is also in the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro. And that is also what is the Bangsamoro Organic Law. So when I'm saying, when I'm being critical, this is not just my own opinion. No, what I've been saying is that the framework is in the CAB. The framework is in the BUL. Let's go back to that framework, okay, and try to implement it as much as we can. And when you say implementation, it may require even charter change in the future. Then let's be open to changing our constitution, okay, to accommodate Okay, sabihin mo addressing these grievances and implementation of the comprehensive agreement of the banks.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. Again, I'm Tatiana Maligro. This episode was edited by Anthony Tobias, and our executive producer is Jill Caro. As someone born and raised in Mindanao, the Bangsamoro's right to self-determination is deeply personal to me. The culture and identity nila is something that's very uniquely Filipino in its own way, and yet this decades-long battle for autonomy has yet to really officially cross the finish line. So I hope that this episode not only brought you up to speed on the Bangsamoro elections, but it also inspired you to pay attention to the diverse voices in our society that often go unheard. And if you found this episode meaningful, I hope you consider sharing it to someone who wants to learn more about the Bangsamoro region. Thanks for listening.